you want me to give it to me?
It's MEMG.
MENG?
MEMG
Okay.
1106 at hotmail.com.
Okay, send it right now.
Good evening, everybody. It's 6:01. Welcome, guests, members of the public, citizens, councilors, village staff. Welcome to tonight. I hope you all have a Merry Christmas and are ready to get back to work tonight. Ms. Shannon, will you act as our clerk for the evening?
Yes, sir.
Please call roll.
Councilwoman Louise Gallegos. Here. Councilor Brent Jaramillo.
Here.
Councilor Jason Gonzalez.
Here.
Councilwoman Katrina Gonzalez. Here. You have a quorum, Mayor.
Next item is Pledge of Allegiance. We have our members of our National Guard. Would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm sorry, I referred to you as members of the National Guard, members by VFW.
Former National Guard.
Former National Guard, thank you for your service, all of you. Next item is approval of the agenda. Councilors, you have the agenda before you, it should be on your screen. And you had a chance to read it. Do you have any changes, additional solutions?
Motion to approve the agenda as is, Mayor.
I have a motion by Councilwoman Gallegos. Do I have a second? Second by Councilwoman Gonzalez. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Next item is approval of minutes. Regular council meeting December 13th, 2022. Councilors, did you get a chance to review the minutes?
Yes, sir. On line 18, Councilman Jason Gonzalez should have a Z instead of an S. And I believe under others present, we also, Elizabeth, I believe is Roberts, with an S and not just Robert. And I believe, our project manager, Jacob, was also present at that meeting. Was that the one, or was it the next one? Maybe, I'm thinking of the next meeting. Yeah, never mind. And that is it. Motion to approve with changes.
I have a motion by Councilwoman Gallegos. Do I have a second? Second. Second by Councilman Gonzalez. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it. Next item is public comment. It's the public policy of the governing body to accept public comment because your issue is not on the agenda. The governing body cannot respond immediately, but may direct staff to address issues at a future council meeting. Public comments are limited to a maximum of 3 minutes. Do we have anyone for public comment? Do we have anyone online for public comment? Staff, did you get anyone with public comments?
We did not, Mayor.
I'll close public comments at 6:04. Next item is presentation. The first one is Lynn's call from the QEDF.
Good evening, councilors and staff, and members of the audience. Happy New Year to everyone. I'm just here to give you a quick update of what our plans are for the upcoming year, and to thank you for your partnership over this past year. They go by really quickly, and I think we have a lot of work to do in the coming year, and I hope that we'll be able to get a lot of it done. As we're finalizing our budget, just wanted to share the projects that we have lined up, and these will be done in conjunction with the Village of Questa, Chevron, the Lower Foundation. We're so blessed to have our own community officer now, and of course all the local organizations and businesses in our community. We have budgeted money to help recruit businesses for the business park or for any of our vacant buildings. We have, the money will be used for site tours and for materials, and to help resources for our existing businesses. And another area that we are helping our businesses is around employees and skilled labor. Really good news. Starting next month, the high school will actually be holding their first welding lab class. So after very many years of trying to get an instructor, we finally have one, and I'm really excited about that. The students coming out of that class will be eligible to work at Landwell as apprentices. Yep. Can you hear me?
We got somebody else has their mic on.
I can hear you, somebody else has their mic on.
Oh, okay. Talk about the welding lab, and hopefully they can all get good jobs and work in Questa or at Landwell and make great money. Another piece that is going to help our businesses, current businesses and new businesses, is looking at how we can increase our workforce housing. Another piece of good news is that the lodging project will be renting out their first home in the new year. It's just about ready to go, and that is, again, one of those projects that's been in the works for a while, but really good news to have two of them because it's a duplex, so excited about that. And to back that up, we are commissioning a comprehensive housing assessment to measure the need of housing in our community, what the scale of affordability is, what type of lodging is needed. In discussions that we've had with grant opportunities and with developers, they want current information on these items before we can take that conversation to the next level. So we are going to commission that, we have it budgeted, and we have support for putting that into place. And hopefully that will be the first step into helping move us towards more affordable housing. And another piece that is like housing, without childcare, we can't really count on our employees. So we're also doing a childcare assessment. And I know that in the past, the council has looked at it working with Inspire, and that's something we certainly could do. What we're going to try to do initially is just find out who's already doing childcare, find out how we can help them with resources, and make sure that anybody that wants to do childcare, we can help them get started and provide them with that information. Around agriculture, we are proposing an agricultural co-op. Now, I know this is probably something you've heard before, but we are very aggressive this time in working toward pulling together our community. We have presentations lined up without dates just yet, but for January with Dan Hobbs, who is with the Rocky Mountain Farm Union, who actually works to help create co-ops. And Lisa Fox, one of our community citizens, is very passionate about this and has taken the lead. And we have money to help make this happen, to help get the community together and to take the steps that are needed to develop a co-op if it's what the community wants. We will continue our partnerships in the coming year around promoting Questa. Thank you again for your support of our New Mexico True advertising campaign this past year and for the upcoming year as well. And we will continue operations of our visitor center. That continues to be something that is needed. Even in the winter, people come in all the time. I wish we could keep it open more than we have it, but summer is when we have the most visitation, so we'll stick to that for right now. And a lot of our visitors come for recreation. Really good news again, we are moving forward with the Questa to Red River Trail. There's money has been funded. Red River, the town of Red River is the fiscal agent, and money has been funded to get the engineering design completed this coming year in conjunction with the NEPA, which is the environmental assessment. So by the end of this new year, not this year, but 2023, we are hopeful that we will have those pieces in place, and then we can look for funding to help start building that trail. It's a multi-year project, but it's a really good one, and there's a lot of support for it. we are also looking at conceptual plans for trails, official trails in Largo Canyon, Largo Loma Canyon. This was one of the proposed recommendations from the Public Land Solutions report that we had assessed a couple of years ago. And we're working hard to get this now conceptualized as the first step. And we're working with the Enchanted Circle Trails Association on both of these projects, Red River Trail as well as the Largo Canyon. And Lauren Bell is the new director there, and he's put together a proposal for working with us on the conceptual plans, which I think will be really, really exciting once those get off the ground. And as you all know, we are all, as a community, working on the production or the feasibility of production for green hydrogen. This is a big deal, and hopefully it'll continue to move in a positive direction. QEDF is committed to doing whatever we need to help move that forward. And last but not least, we are moving forward, and the Questa Del Rio News will continue to report on all of our projects. Wanted to make sure that you all knew that we are in the midst of our December fundraising drive, and it takes more than just what QEDF can afford to get that paper continuing to run. So your donations are really appreciated. So if there's any way that you can, do $5 or $50, really helps the Questa Del Rio News stay free and continue to report in our community. So as we move into 2023, looking forward to continuing to work together and to be a partner in all the projects that you are working on and that we can work on together. I'm open for questions.
Councilors, any questions from the school?
I do. Thank you, Ms. Paul, for all of that information. That was quite a bit of information. Regarding the apprenticeships through LAMO, do you know how many there are going to be with the QHS students?
Well, the apprenticeship program, LAMO currently has 1,000 jobs open. And so the apprenticeship program, I don't know what the exact numbers are, but my discussions with the representatives at LAMO continue to remind us that those opportunities are still available. And I'm not aware how many kids are in the welding class, but as many as that they can put out, LAMO will look at them.
Okay. How are they selected? Do you know? Is it just they're able to sign
I
up?
don't know.
And
I can get information on that, but yeah, I think it's, when they come out of the welding program, they are, they're certified welders at the very basic level, and then the apprenticeship is on-the-job training that helps them to continue to grow those skills. So once they get that certification, they can move into even, more learning and more income.
And Ms. Skoll, in regards to the housing and child care assessments, what is that going to consist of? Who's participating in these assessments?
Well, we're hiring somebody to do the assessments, and the community will all be involved. We're going to have focus groups, we're going to have one-on-one, there's going to be inventories taken. So there's going to be a lot of community involvement and meetings as well to make sure that this is something everybody is aware of and involved in. It's such a critical issue, both of those are. We want to bring it to the forefront and work with the village and with our community to help find a direction for solutions.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
No questions, Mayor. Just want to thank you, Lynn, for all that information. It's a lot to digest, but it's a lot that you've already been working on. And the newspaper, I guess we can just mail a donation or get in touch with, I know it's been in the newspaper and stuff, but just for clarification, what's the easiest way to do this?
The easiest way to donate is just to go onto the website at questanews.com and just donate. There's a PayPal button, and there's also another button that you can use a credit card for, or you can mail a check to the paper. In the December issue, there's information about where to mail that, there's a form that you can fill out.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, I really appreciate you asking about that.
Thank you, Ms. Cole.
Thank you, and Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy New Year.
If there are no other questions, we'll move on to the next presentation. Mr. Danny Garcia, Questa Council.
I have a couple of questions concerning the Veterans Park and the VFW. First of all, I want to know what's the procedures for, requesting something done at the Veterans Park?
Like as far as,
Like, let's say I wanted to recognize some VFW members, or
so public park, we can just request that the bill, but you can use it anytime you need, Mr. Garcia.
no, like, let's say I wanted to put a plaque or a monument, or let's say Lyle Ortega, or Jose Antonio, or Charlie Cisneros from Cerro, or Jose Gaspar, Marco, those ones that never came back, that veterans that we lost during the war. Because I know I had talked to, who was Valerie, she said that I had to go through Larry Sanchez. Is that?
Larry Sanchez is the one that has been doing the work in the past, and he's doing the bricks.
Okay, like those bricks for I know I purchased a brick for it, to represent the fallen veterans in Manila, one of the Philippines, because they said they were going to have a dedicated, I never seen that dedication. And this has been like 15 years.
We can follow up.
Yeah.
That's what you mean, like that. Shouldn't be in that park.
Yeah, because like those are just a handful, I know, just by talking to people, like your grandfather who told me a lot about Jose Gaspar. He was my uncle, my dad's older brother. I don't know. He died before he was 19 years old. Jose Antonio, who we dedicated the VFW. Because I know when I talked to Larry, he said, I don't know nothing about the VFW. I don't know why or what, but I thought we were a community where we were supposed to work together and try to build up on stuff. So that's why I requested, what's the procedure? And then the other thing, I know last year we had requested funds for the kitchen equipment. And I know me and you talked, you said they couldn't help us install the equipment. So I did get volunteers, roofers, carpenters, and electricians, and we did install the equipment and the hood. And the only thing we have now is the fire suppression. That one we had done, we can't install it, but that one we could try to purchase. And I believe they had said there was like $10,000 for us to be able to. They said that there was some funds from, it was like, I'm not sure from where the funds were for last year, but it was, where they said that it was from somebody that was running a campaign funds. And they said they were turned into the village, and that was supposed to be used to be in the VFW to for.
Yeah, you're talking about some money from Senator Cisneros. That's the one you're talking about.
Probably.
And Patsy, I don't remember the dollar amount, but what I was told is that Patsy had set aside some money for the VFW. But I think it was $10,000.
Yeah, that's what I was, we could use that for the actual fire suppression, that's basic. Because, and then the last thing is we use like, sometimes 50 gallons of water, sometimes we don't use no water at all for 1 or 2 months. We've used the building toward the Friendship Circle, which we subcontract to them. That's the only way we can make it, because they had red tagged our kitchen. They said we were non-compliant for kitchen, for the EPA. It had to be a commercial kitchen. So we became compliant within the last 4 years, except for the fire suppression. Now that we are kitchen compliant, the auxiliary does help us out. They'll have a breakfast or spaghetti, different, and all that money just goes to paying the utilities. Like the water, sewer, and trash alone from the Village of Questa is $107 and a few cents, and that's just the water, sewer, and trash. Is there a way we can just like eliminate the trash and then we all take it to our own? Or we pay as we gather it and drop it off over here? Because and for as much as we use it, it's, all the community uses it there. And the same thing with the water and sewer, we have a little residential tap, just a 3/4 inch tap. And instead of being considered a commercial, could you guys find it where you can put it down to like a residential tap and we pay a minimum? Because there's been times where I know I've asked different members for donations when we're low on cash and we had to dish out of our own pockets to pay the electricity, the gas alone to keep that. And that's another thing, every other day going over there and making sure the gas, the thermostats are down, the gas is turned off. And our gas bill every month, because we go on the extended plan for a full, is $273 a month. So 273, 170.
For gas?
Yes. And that's to keep it in the winter in case somebody needs it, in case we need to rent it out. And then we do have a contract with Friendship Circle, and they thought we were charging them too much, but that's the only place we can get a controlled environment. And it's we have to contract with the rodent control, and they come every quarter to come and make sure that there's no rodents or anything, make sure. And a lot of this work is done by members or community that we contact to try and help keep it up, because there's no other way we can maintain that building. And we tried to rent it out, and we did have a couple of prospects now in December. One just fell through now in January, and we are getting another 2 of them in January. And we charge like $75 an hour, at least to help pay for some of the utilities. And we're thinking of maybe raising them, but if we raise it too much, a lot of people are saying, well, why not go to Red River? Nicer facility. So it's, for a small community to work with each other, I think we need your guys' help if we're gonna continue to be a, yeah, we could downsize the building, we could close it off, turn off the water and that. We will still keep the building and just have our meetings there or whatever. But what good is that gonna be for the community? In the last 10 years, I'd say in the last 5-7 years, we've lost already close to 10 members. And you have to be a veteran or foreign. Most of them are like Modesto Cisneros, Ted Yu, Ricardo Rael, Clarence Lacombe, Gary Cobbin, and a lot of them are, and we do have quite a few members, but a lot of them reside out of the state out of Questa or even out of the state of New Mexico, so that doesn't help us out as far as getting people to get involved and helping. And majority of our members are already in their 80s, 90s, so that's why I can't depend on them to go. If we have like a breakfast and they'll assist us, we do have them sell tickets or whatever, but as far as going over there helping us sweep and mop and that, some of them are on wheelchairs, some of them are, and it's hard on I would not want to see the building get sold or anything like that, because all the older membership put too much time and effort, like the bingos that they used to have. I'm sure everybody remembers going to the bingos.
Oh, yeah.
The gaming commission now charges us, and then the bingo callers have to be certified, trained, and the last 2 years that the old membership was having bingos, we were slowly going in the hole, but we had a lot of money, and then once our utilities and everything skyrocketed, I'm saying. That's what really has put us in a bind. So that's what I was wondering if, one, find out what the proper procedure is for the Veterans Park, and what happened with all that money, because I know the brick was $50 to make a brick in grade, it's what, like $15 to $20, what happened to the rest of it? Did they put a nice plaque for, that's, and the other thing is if you guys can lower the utility rate, the waters, and like I said, if you can just put not have a bin there, and just put it all into one trash bag and come and pay over here and drop it off over here. I think that'd be a lot cheaper than, because for us to be using it just on a temporary basis, that's what's really killing us. Like other VFWs that are really making that, they have a bar there, but that's one big that. And even at Cerro, that's a, Cerro used to make it, they had their bar.
So a lot of the maintenance and upkeep has been volunteer work.
Yes.
And we definitely don't want to lose that within our community, so we do need to figure out a way to help.
That's basically all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia. We'll have
Any
to
questions from?
look into the account too and see how that works, but we just, as far as, we run into a lot of anti-donation issues with doing stuff like that as well, so we've got to be very careful with that.
Yeah, because I know they said they could purchase it, they just can't install it, and that's why we had the equipment installed by the people that, like carpenters or electricians and roofers.
And I'll ask you, Mr. Councilman, on you, follow up with the Cisneros family on that donation receipt. Already commission.
I'll look into that. I know that, it was at $10,000, and some of the money was already used, so I will have to look into what the balance is.
Used for it.
I'll have to look into it.
We'll look into it, we'll get back with Mr. Garcia from action.
Yeah, we do gotta recognize the veterans that gave all.
I agree, and we will do that before that, Veterans Park, and get that taken care of, that needs to be taken care of. Any questions for Mr. Garcia?
No questions, but, I would like to make a pledge at this time to your VFW. I will pay their water, sewer, and electric for 6 months, and that way you can use that funding for something else.
All right.
On behalf of my family, we will do that to help you. And I know that you've been working really hard at everything else that you're trying to do. And we are the owners of the Veterans Park, so if you do have anything that you want in there, it would come through the village first.
Thank you for that, Councilwoman Daniels.
Of course.
I'm sure that will help you get to meet your events.
Veterans and Fire Department have my heart because of my brother Joey.
Any other questions, councilors? Next item is a presentation, Mr. Robert Romero, village lobbyist. Mr. Romero, would you just take a minute and introduce yourself to the council since they've never met you before, and maybe just give us a little bit about your background first.
Yeah, sure, thank you, Mayor and council members. I graduated from Walken High School in 1983, went to New Mexico State. I'm a civil engineer, professional engineer. After graduating in 88 from New Mexico State, I went to work at the DOT. I worked in traffic engineering for several years. I was the head of the consulting design unit. Back then, we designed the Big Eye, we designed all the urban interchange projects, a lot of urban projects. And in 2000, I was hired by the city of Santa Fe, and I was the city engineer from 2000 to 2004. From 2004 to 2009, I was the public works director. We did a lot of projects in Santa Fe back then. We did the convention center, we did Service Road, libraries, roads. Back then, there was a lot of Chicago for a couple of years doing business development, and I was offered a job by a couple of companies to lobby, so I've been lobbying since about 2015. Although when I was in the city, I lobbied from the entire time I was there from 2000 to 2013, so I've been lobbying for about 20 years now, a little over 20 years. Some of the clients that I have, one is Kit Carson Electric Co-op. I've been working with them since about 2017. BNSF Railroad, Mexico Highlands, one company, NGL Energy Partners, they're an oil and gas company down in the Permian Basin. SB60 is a big lobbying company in Santa Fe, and I work with them on several clients, although I'm not the lead lobbyist for all their clients, but I do a lot of work with them. I think in a nutshell, that's my background. So I had a lot of meetings with the DOT to help the village. I think we're pretty aggressive commitments to, through the help of Senator Gonzalez to get Cardesto, those two phases constructed. Hopefully some funding for the next projects. Plus, as you all know, there's quite a bit of money this year. There's going to be quite a bit of capital outlay money. I have meetings set up already with Representative Cortez for next week, and I talk to Senator Gonzalez pretty often. We're going to work with Kit Carson. Stand for questions.
Councilors, do you have any questions for Mr. Romero?
I have no questions, Mayor. Quite a resume there, Mr. Romero. Welcome to the Village of Questa.
Appreciate it. Look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
Mayor, Mr. Romero, I thank you for joining us and taking this task on. And hoping that you can definitely use your expertise and help us out.
I look forward to it. I have lots of experience in DSA, all over state government, helping cities, and I look forward to it.
Yes, welcome, Mr. Romero. We need help with our DFW.
Good one, Councilor.
Some of this equipment that Mr. Garcia referred to was a capital outlay 5 years ago that I think he was through Senator Snell's for updated kitchen equipment for the building. They were able to update everything, but now they just need the fire suppression system. So maybe that if there's anything that you see through Veterans Affairs, I know the governor's office through Anna that works there had offered to, she had found someone to help through Veteran Services to try and get help with installing some of this equipment. She gave me a number earlier in the year too.
I'll make some calls over there. I'll make some calls and see if we'll also take a look at all the, I know there's a list on DFA's website that shows all the different funding that those receive every year. I'm sure you get that list with that too, and all the proposals with your staff to figure that out.
No pressure. Councilman Williams.
No questions, just welcome on board for working with you the next few months, and concerns with very compressed road, and we can talk offline on that.
Like I said, I have some really good ties with the DOT, and it looks like there's going to be a lot of, I think it's you probably with that, TAF money, there's going to be quite a bit of money available this year, so I think from working with the engineers that are working on the two projects, I think there's about a $600,000 shortfall right now, and talking to DOT, they think they can probably fund that this year as long as design, it looks like it's getting pretty close.
Councilor, just FYI, we're trying to get, we will have compressed road, all 3 phases, shovel ready for the legislative session. So it's a shovel ready project. We're trying to get Embargo Road shovel ready for the legislative session also. And we're trying to get Shirley Road shovel ready for the legislative session. we're looking for engineers, I'll give you that, but not urgent. An engineer firm, I'll give you that, so hopefully we can get all that done. Sounds like it's gonna be a good year.
Yeah, this is the year to, hopefully another one is next year, but this year for sure.
And I know a lot of what they're saying is that any shovel ready is likely to get flooded right now. I know you have to get back to Milwaukee, but we do have a action item on legislative priorities. If you want to stick around for that, that should be critical.
Yeah, I'll stick around. Okay, it's a pleasure to meet all of you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming in. Next item is discussion, consideration, and decision, resolution 2022-2024, 2023 employee holiday schedule. Ms. Shannon.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. In your packet was a resolution that included the dates that we are requesting for the holidays and also was a calendar. There was one error on the President's Day. It said February 22nd, but it is February 20th, so that correction is sitting there on your table.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay.
The mayor and I did discuss some of these holidays. Usually we give up one of the January, or we actually give up the February holiday, which is President's Day, for the second day in November. And I had suggested that we give up one of the January holidays, but he was comfortable with me asking for both. So that's how I submitted it. I stand for any questions.
For the Christmas holiday, you usually get the day before and the day after? No, what is it?
No, we usually get one day, which is the Christmas day.
Yeah.
And then at the mayor's leisure, he gives us the day before
Okay.
as a couple hours off in the afternoon.
Yeah, because Christmas Eve isn't actually until the Sunday, so.
Until the Sunday, yes.
Yeah, I would like to give you 2 days, but, okay, you explained it well.
Any other questions, councilors?
No, Mayor, motion to approve the schedule as is.
I have a motion by Councilwoman Diana, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Gonzalez. Ms. Shannon, please call roll.
Councilor Brent Jaramillo.
Yes.
Councilwoman Louise Gallegos.
Yes.
Councilman Jason Gonzalez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Katrina Gonzalez.
Yes.
Next item is discussion, consideration, and decision, resolution 2022-25, 2023 approval of open meeting resolution.
Mayor and Council, I'm presenting this for our clerk who has been sick. She typed up this resolution according to the standards and left to the same meetings the second and fourth Tuesday of the month at 6 o'clock.
Councilors, do you have any questions? I know Councilman Rodriguez would suggest going to one meeting a month, but I had the discussion with staff and they think that we need, and I agree with them, that we need at least 2 meetings a month because we're constantly having special meetings even on top of the 2 meetings a month, and we just don't feel like we could get the meeting, the business of the village done in one meeting.
I get that, but we went through why I brought it up, but we didn't have a special meetings because of other circumstances, related to the agenda, but then there's some meetings, that we only have one item, and we went a couple of months with one item on for each regular meeting. And so sometimes if there's a way to consolidate the meetings, I'm all for that. I don't mind doing it like we used to know. And previously we had the first meeting was a special meeting, the second meeting was a regular meeting. And that way we use the first meeting as more of a work study meeting, like we have the water and sewer rate discussions that are coming up, that we could use that first meeting as more of a work study meeting. It also makes sense to me.
Council, does anyone else have any comments on the, or suggestions on the open meetings resolution? No question here. Anyone else want to see it changed to one meeting or a special meeting after the regular meeting?
I agree with Councilor Jaramillo with the consolidation, but I understand that everything is situational.
We just, I know some of the meetings have been light, but we're going into a period now that we have a lot of procurement coming up and a lot of things, a lot of projects. For a little bit of reference, councilors, I meet with village staff, Mr. Lafore, Ms. Shannon, Ms. Villil, every other week just on discussing projects, and I think just with transition and everything, change of staff, that last year we fell behind in some of those projects, so we're going to be seeing a lot of that come up down in the next couple of months when we're going up for procurement on a bunch of different projects, try and get those locked out this year. I still, councilors, believe that we need 2 meetings a month.
Motion to approve resolution 2022-25 with 2 meetings a month, Mayor.
I have a motion by Councilwoman Gallegos, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Gonzalez. Ms. Shannon, will you please call roll?
Councilman Brent Jaramillo.
Yes.
Councilwoman Luis Gallegos.
Yes.
Councilor Jason Gonzalez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Katrina Gonzalez.
Yes.
Thank you, Councilor.
I'm going to, excuse me, Mayor, I'm going to put this here, you all have to sign it in an official record. You'll sign it and send it down, appreciate it.
Next item is discussion, consideration, and decision on resolution 2022-26, approval of DOT map grant L500523. Ms. Shannon.
Mayor and Council, the new person over at DOT is going through all the grants and found that this one had not been brought to council with a resolution and sent back to them. Last Friday, she also found another one that we're gonna probably have to ask for a special meeting to get that one approved, because we got it after the fact of this agenda, after it was posted, but it also has to be turned in by Friday, January the 6th, which is next week. So this particular grant is for $116,640. The match is $38,880. So the total project cost is $155,520. It is for Upper and Barber Road.
And councilors, if you'll recall, Chevron did commit to helping us with that grant. They had committed $107,000 for this road. This is also one of our capital outlay legislative priorities, and I believe it's our number 3 on our ICF. So we can try and get that done. My hope is that with this grant, this award is for design and construction, we can use that to get the engineering done and get this shovel ready before the legislative session, or at least before the end of it. Anyone have any questions?
No, Mayor, no questions.
Motion to approve. I have a motion by Councilman Gonzalez, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Gonzalez. Ms. Shannon, will you please call roll?
Councilor Brent Jaramillo.
Yes.
Councilwoman Luis Gallegos.
Yes.
Councilor Jason Gonzalez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Katrina Gonzalez.
Yes.
Thank you.
Next item is discussion, consideration, decision resolution 2022-2027, 27, 2023 legislative priorities. Mr. Laffoya, I believe you're taking the lead on this one.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Before they go into the legislative priority list, on your workstations was a copy of the most recent and updated ICIP. The reason that you have that is there were some changes made to the ICIP based on internal discussions among us, the mayor, and because of recent award letters that we received. So we found it necessary to modify some of the asking amounts for funding. Some were increased, some were decreased, and some of the projects' rankings were changed. A couple of the recent award letters were for the following projects: the Questa Fire Department water tender. An award letter was received for that. So you'll see on your ICIP that the asking amount was reduced. And the Questa Municipal Playground, we're happy to say that the Quality of Life grant was received for the playground. So that was also changed, reduced. Some of the changes you'll see was Cabresco Road improvements. There was a previous fund request, and then you see the current fund request amount. Road improvements for Embargo, that was increased substantially. You'll see sewer lines install and updates, the previous fund request and then the new fund request. The Questa Municipal Playground, again, was reduced by the Quality of Life grant amount, but there was still an amount necessary for landscaping. And then the ambulance emergency vehicle fund was increased. And in the future, for a new Questa Community Center, the amount for plan and design was increased. And you'll see the following rankings were changed. Questa Fire Department tender previously was number 9, ranked currently at 13. The Questa Skate Park, previously at 10, now 11. Questa Rodeo Grounds, previously 11, now at 10. Shirley Road improvements, previously at 13, is now number 9. The Judicial Complex renovations was 17 and now at 22. And the Questa New Community Center, previously it was on board for 2025 at number 3, and now it's moved up to 17 in 2024. So I just felt it necessary to give you a brief update on why the updated ICIP was at your workstations.
Do we have to approve it by resolution next meeting, or? I'm going to double check with Ms. Moran on that.
Okay. I was told that we could make changes to the ICIP, so
Whatever Carmen says is good with me.
I'll follow up with Carmen and then I'll put out on that. Any other questions?
The other thing, councilors, is that we did see that we got congressional direct spending, $175,000 for the library improvements, the whole part of the library.
Oh, good.
We saw that on Thursday. Actually came to an email to me that Mr. Romero sent me. So,
Nice.
we may be able to actually move that down our ICIP a little bit, not necessarily make that legislative more. We may ask for a little bit more money than $175,000.
What was that for the roof, or was it for the parking lot?
The structure, I thought, the building.
It's for the structure, the roof's bad, the windows are bad. Some of the tiles in the building where it's deep is gone bad, the roof tiles. The carpeting is bad. It just needs an update. The parking lot, we have $80,000. That's one of the projects that we're going to be going to procurement for. Hopefully this spring to get that paved over there. We did on that one, we did, because the design on that parking lot wasn't what really meant what we needed, we had to change that, like, to get a little bit more to get the design done again, but they've kind of designed it real fancy, and we need just a straight parking lot. So we did have to spend a little bit of money there, but that should be done this summer, or this spring. Ms. Shannon.
So Mayor and Council, Resolution 2022-27 was in your packet. And it does list the priorities. Sewer system improvements, Cabresto Road improvements, Barber Road improvements, police department vehicles, library improvements to existing building, new fire department building, water system improvements, sewer lines install and update, road improvements for Shirley Road, Questa Rodeo Grounds, and administrative vehicle purchase. I stand for any questions or changes.
Ms. Shannon, the only thing I'm not seeing on there that I think should be on there is the skate park. And I'll tell you why. Representative Ortiz has expressed interest in helping us with that project in the past, and said that if we didn't get the Volume for Life grant on that, that she would push that for us. I think we should add that to this list.
I will include that, Mayor, before you sign the resolution, if it is passed this evening. We will, we haven't heard back from the quality of life grants on the other two asks, so as soon as we find out anything, we will let you know.
We can still get them.
We could still get them, yes. The first one they said was for the little park.
Mr. Romero, is there any limit to the amount of project or amount of asks we can ask for?
In Capital?
Yeah.
I don't think so, but usually what happens if it's something big like the sewer plant or water plants, last year, for example, there was a lot of money, but each senator, I think, got about $3 to $4 million, and each representative got about $2 million. So if you're gonna do something big, it's kind of hard for them to fund it. It's something that's really big, I could ask the governor, and she has a bigger pot, and she likes funding those big projects. This year, we don't know the exact number. I know they're talking, it's gonna be real big, but we don't know how much each senator, each representative is gonna get. So it just depends. Again, it also depends on usually the need and whether it's ready for design. I know that I read something in the paper where Senator Gonzalez mentioned that they'd like to fully fund projects, but I'm not sure if they mean projects that are designed, because I know there's still, I don't know, hundreds of millions that some counties and cities have that they haven't spent yet. So I think for the future, the good thing to do this year, for whatever money we get, try to spend it right away so we can go back and let them know that we have a record of spending our money. Because they will reauthorize some of that money, and if you can prove that you know how to spend it, it's a lot easier to get it.
Thank you, Mr. Romero. And I guess the other question is, I know you talked to DOT about Cabresto Road improvements, and we still have that listed as a top priority. Should we do that on this resolution as a top priority?
I don't think it'll hurt it, because I can talk to as long as it's on your ICIP and the legislator wants to fund it, I don't think it's gonna hurt. I know that I think the TFF applications are due in about March, but like I said, that money is there, and I've already I know that Senator Gonzalez has talked to him as well. So I think we can still leave it there and just let our legislator know what our highest priorities, and again, we'll know a lot more from them and what they think are realistic numbers, and at that time I'll come back to you and let you know. But it's still really, I don't think they've received those numbers from DFA and exactly how much they're gonna have.
Thank you. Councilor, do you have any questions for Ms. Shannon or on this resolution?
Well, not so much question on the resolution, but is there Mr. LaFayette or Mr. Romero going to fill up the capital requests? Just so they were clear.
Well, last week internally, Councilman Conley, but just with some of the staff being out into space, that we're not able to do that. We were gonna do it internally, but would you recommend that you do that, Mr. Romero, or?
Either way I can do it. There's instructions online. I just need to make sure that, that I can do it and it's not in the city, village is not to do it. If that happens, I can drive up and I can help you do it if you've never done it before. It's pretty quick.
I think we're pretty comfortable being able to do it in-house, and that's asked through you.
Yeah, no, I think it's pretty simple. If we can, it's almost the same as doing ICIP. There's just another link in DFA website. So either way, if you need my help, let me know.
Councilman?
Yeah, I know, I was taking the class next week. Yeah, I mean, it's not like a big lift either.
Yeah, but if you need my help,
And Mayor and Council, we did close out, just a little bit off topic, but kind of related. We did close out our CDBG projects, both of them. Good. We're closing out the EDA project, and we're closing out 4 road projects on the grants. We're working diligently to close out these projects so we can ask for more money. We will, this next year, go to all the trainings for CDBG and put in an application next year for the CDBG.
Mr. Romero?
one thing this year, there's also going to be is junior money, and I'm not sure if you're aware of what junior money is, but junior money, it can be used for capital outlay or for programs. And we believe last year, I think they gave each legislator maybe 200,000, 300,000. It was actually the governor vetoed it. It's the reason they came back for a special session, because they wanted that money. But if you apply for some recurring money, let's just say for a program, I know that, like Boys and Girls Clubs get it, or the police departments can get it. There's that money, the recurring money is good, because you could potentially get 25, 30, 50,000 every year, or you can apply for one-time funding. I can look into whether, if that's the will of the council to go up to that VFW money there, I can take a look at it. I have a list of what they funded last year. I can get it to you guys so you can see if there's something similar that you might see if they need for it. But that recurring money is nice because you get it every year.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So I'll email you a list from last year so you can see what they funded in different cities, counties around the state, and then you can take a look at it. Maybe let me know, and we can start talking to Representative Ortiz and Senator Gonzalez about it and see if they can help us out a little bit. You can't really ask for too much big, but it could be, I guess, anywhere from 20 to 50,000 a year, or sometimes they'll fund a bus or a vehicle or something. But there's going to be money this year for that too.
Michelle, I'm glad to see that all these improvements that we have on this list are for infrastructure in the community. I know a lot of community members come to me with concerns about everything that is taking place in the town, and it seems like the biggest ones are water, sewer, and roads, and that's the majority of this right here. Speaking on that, the water break on Friday.
It's Friday night, we're done at Saturday.
Saturday in Cottonwood Road. So apparently that line has been busted many times. Word from our supervisor, John Rael, was stating that maybe a PRV valve is needed in that area. So something to think about.
That's something that, I was thinking the same thing, because we've had a lot of leaks in that area, that's something that we, look at CDBG, and try to get CDBG grant, and we also, since we got our, paperwork into the state generally, now we're applying to the state water fund, which we were needing to do in the past. We're also getting our return flow credit, so we can apply for, we have those monies that we can apply towards, also to try and get some of this infrastructure fixed. Because the last two major outages have been on Evergreen Road, and that's close to the well, to the tank, and pretty much when we had to take an outage at one of those leaks, that's taken the whole town out of water. And I know on the December 8th one, that was about, 10 hours, the town was out of water.
Not everybody was out, but a lot of them were.
So we do need to fix a lot of our infrastructure. Hopefully this year, wishful thinking is that Carresto Road will be paved this year, and possibly Embargo Road. And then, of course, we're always looking for the water and sewer improvements, sewer lines. We do need to get a little bit of money to fix the SPIDA system in the sewer system right now, because that's still down and it could lead to a major emergency. So hopefully we'll get some of that money.
I thought we had that on order.
We have it on order, which
It's still gonna take a long time for it to get here.
will take a while, and we still are waiting to hear back from our insurance company to see how much they're actually going to cover on that. If there is no other discussion, can I entertain a motion to approve resolution 2022-27 with the addition of skate park to the list?
So move me.
I have a motion by Councilman Gonzalez, a second by Councilwoman Gallegos. Ms. Shannon, will you please call roll?
Councilman Brent Jaramillo,
Yes.
Councilwoman Louise Gallegos,
Yes.
Councilman Jason Gonzalez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Katrina Gonzalez.
Yes.
Next item is executive session. Can I entertain a motion to go to executive session?
So move me.
Motion by Councilwoman Gallegos, second by Councilman Gonzalez. Will you please call roll?
Councilman Brent Jaramillo,
Yes.
Councilwoman Louise Gallegos,
Yes.
Councilman Jason Gonzalez,
Yes.
Councilwoman Katrina Gonzalez.
Yes.